Sharon, I'm really interested in a little business that you've had going for a little while now, which is landlord to landlord sales. How did that come about?
Well, that was a light bulb moment, one could say. I have a letting agency, and I found over a few years I was losing clients. And the reason I was losing the clients was because they were coming to me to say, I need to sell the property. Can you give notice to the tenants? Which we would then do. And then they would go down the road to an estate agent, and we would lose that business.
Right.
As the market dropped in 2007, 2008, I then found that they were coming back to say, it's been on the market 6 months, we haven't had a bite, can you put another tenant in? And in the meantime, they've lost a really good tenant they had in before.
And all the rent that they were
And
paying.
all the rent while they were doing it.
Yeah.
So there was that was going on. And then my husband and I, we own a portfolio of properties too. And one of our tenants had given notice. And I remember having a conversation with my husband and saying, the tenant's moving out, why don't we put it on the market for a couple of months? If it sells, it sells, and if it doesn't, we'll just get another tenant.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, while I was saying that, I was thinking, why am I doing this, actually?
The light bulb moment.
Yes, the light bulb moment. And therefore, landlord to landlord sales was born. I brainstormed it with some friends, and we came up with, it was really hard to know what to call it. I love businesses that say what they do on a tin, and landlord to landlord sales says exactly that. We're selling from a landlord to a landlord, and it's selling.
With the tenant in
with the
in
tenant situ.
Yeah.
So what we've got now is if you were a first-time buyer looking to go into the investment market, you would go to an estate agent and you would look around the properties, and you're buying what I would call an off-the-shelf property. You would then come to someone like myself on the letting side, ask me, what's the area like, what kind of rental will I achieve, and what kind of people will I get? These are all the fears that all landlords have. So I'm saying, actually, if you come to me on landlord to landlord sales, you will meet the tenants, so you know exactly what kind of tenant you have. You will have a history of how they pay their rent. You know exactly what kind of rent they're paying. The buy-to-let mortgages love it because we've got an assured short-hold tenancy showing exactly what it's saying they have been paying. So therefore that helps with the mortgage process. And you're receiving rent from day one, from completion. Now the outgoing landlord, he loves it because he's getting rent right up to day completion. He hasn't got this worry of it being on the open market, being empty, not receiving any income, and the worry, will it sell or will it not sell? So he's happy. I'm happy. I'm the letting agent because I'm the middle person. I'm not losing any business. The tenant's happy because they're not having to move out and lose their home. So it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Let's talk about where we are at the moment in the economy with buy-to-let then, because I, like many people, invested in a few properties and have them as buy-to-lets. They've just been sitting there. And I think many people are a little bit worried even about the buy-to-let market being the bubble that creates a fall in the economy and maybe ultimately a recession that we've been through. Do you see that bubble coming, and do you think that's an inevitable thing that we're going to get into?
I do think with the way things are at the moment, we are heading into a bubble. The buy-to-let or the lettings industry is very buoyant. We're in our busiest period right now. There are not enough properties out there for the tenants. Now that obviously will change from area to area, whether north or south of England. I think that what you've got your reluctant landlords who can't sell, and they might be looking now at selling because the market is better. So that will help on the landlord to landlord sales side. You've got the poor people who where the mortgage interests are really low, the bank rate is really low, they are suffering on their savings. So we've now got the new retired people coming to us and looking to becoming first-time landlords. Because the return on their money is going to be much better than sat in a building society.
Yeah.
Also, the banks are only guaranteeing deposits of up to X amount, I think 70, 80,000 at the moment. So if they have got more than that cash, they're either having to spread it into different accounts in different banks, or they invest it in bricks and mortar, where not only is the return going to be better on their money, it's growing in equity in theory.
Well, we are a nation of house owners
We are.
and potentially landlords as well. What sort of investment, what sort of money is needed for an investment? I know it varies around the country. And what's the return on that investment?
The buy-to-let mortgages went way down, 10 to 10 in 2007, 2008. They almost pretty much was hard to even find one. They are coming on every day and we're getting more and more. But I think that the deposits are still around the 20% mark to get a good rate of return. But they're getting stronger all the time. And I will imagine over the next 3 to 6 months we're going to see some much better rates coming in and probably a reduction in the deposits. There are some mortgage companies that don't take that into consideration. They'll just take into consideration what the rental is. So if it's 125% of the mortgage, you don't have to prove your earnings as long as the rental will agree to it. Yes.
Right. It's excellent. It's fascinating. And I wish you every bit of success with the venture. And please pop in a little bit later on, maybe in a few months' time, and let us know how it's gone.
Love to.